Hello, we are the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Kayla. One podcast,
two sisters.
This is episode number 43, and we will be recapping The Bachelorette week 8, 9, fantasy suites, where everyone bangs. And just a reminder that we have new episodes that are the recaps every Friday. And also, I wanted to update you guys because The Bachelor changed the schedule. There's going to be a 2-part finale event. So it will be next Tuesday, will be part 1 of the finale. And then the Tuesday after that, the 20th, is going to be part 2 of the finale. And then the Tuesday after that, we start Bachelor in Paradise. So they're doing kind of a part 1 and part 2 like they did in the fantasy suites, except not all in one week. Like this week, we had 4 hours to watch.
Darn it, though. I don't really like that. They really are making us wait.
We're going to be definitely on a cliffhanger next Tuesday. Like, I might just, explode.
Yeah.
I have a couple thoughts of sneak preview, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. And as far as my life, I had quite the eventful weekend.
Yeah, let's hear about those kitties.
Yes. So for the past 3 days before this happened, a stray cat kept coming around our house, and it's like a heat wave here. I live in Long Beach, California, and it just broke the heat record from 1988. So you'll notice I'm in a different spot because literally where I normally do my podcast is probably just the hottest room in the house. So I'm in my bedroom. Oh, and I did paint this myself. Just a little plug for YouTube listeners. I'm very proud of it. And anyway, so I was giving her water, food, because I was worried about, we thought it was a he at that point. Marcus was convinced that he saw balls. But nope. Once she started having a kitten, I realized it was a girl. And literally, she just found a spot in my yard in my grass and wouldn't leave. And kept just licking herself. I'm like, what is she doing? So I kept going out there every 15 minutes. It was dark at this point. And then I counted the legs and the tail. And then all of a sudden I realized there's another thing coming out of her, almost kind of gooey and wiggly. And at first I thought it was some type of reptile, like a snake, a leech. I had no idea what. I've never seen anything like this. And then once I realized it's a kitten, I almost crapped my pants. I called Marcus because I was also all by myself. Marcus had left maybe 15 minutes prior to go to do a guys' night. He already paid for reservation at Top Golf and everything like that, so he couldn't come back and leave his friends high and dry. So I was on my own. Thankfully, my shout out to my friend Missy, who has done this before. And so what I ran in the house as fast as I could. Thankfully, I had an Amazon order. So I grabbed a box, a towel, go out there. And I literally, all I had to do was just set the box out there. And the cat jumped right in. And
Wow.
The kitten was still attached to it because I'm not going to get too graphic. So her one kitten attached to her, and then I run inside because I have 3 cats already of my own. So I don't want them freaking out. I run into the bedroom. I actually have Miss Poppy right here, the mom. And she proceeds to have 4 more kittens. So a total of 5 kittens, plus the mom, plus the 3 cats I already own as my pets. So I have 9 cats in my house. 9. So I don't know, Amy, if you don't know this, me and Marcus have decided we will be fostering and taking care of them up to the 12 weeks and then finding great families and couples and whoever who wants to adopt cats. I am going to be crazy though. And I need a background check. I need credit score. I might have to have you do a video thing. What's it like? Hi, my name's Kayla, and I want a cat because of this. I will support the cat by. So I can really get a sense of the person and what their day-to-day life is like. But it's going to be a journey. It's already, it's insane watching. These cats are, the size of my fist. 4 girls, 1 boy. And so if you guys are in the Los Angeles area in 12 weeks and want a cat, hit me up because... Well, we're also adopting out the mom. So that's what happened to me.
There you go. Why don't you talk about the issue of cats right now? What do you do? Did you even have any options to
I called around. First of all, I called and I could barely even get any Humane Society or rescue shelter on the phone because it was like an hour wait just to talk to them. And I finally got one place in Newport Beach. So it's like a 40-minute drive here to even get on the phone with me. And they couldn't do anything. And I kind of asked for their advice. And they're like, LA shelters, like most likely they won't have any room. You're going to have to call around a lot and you probably won't get much luck. Plus, since these babies are like, 4 days old now? And they don't really take kittens that young either. So I don't even know like really where to go, what my options would be if I weren't gonna foster and take care of them myself. And I do have a runt too. So it takes a little bit of extra effort and love. And I'm just afraid in an overcrowded, overworked environment of a shelter that, maybe the runt wouldn't make it. And I'm a big animal lover, if you guys don't already know. So like, I'm very attached already to these cats and I need the absolute best for them. So I really think that I am the best for them at the moment. And thankfully Marcus has been fairly supportive. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of options. It's just really just happened on our doorstep. So I think it was meant to happen, and we're going to assess it as it goes if it ends up being too much or anything like that. But I'm really excited. Like right now, they're just little hairballs. Their eyes aren't even open. You can barely tell kind of their markings. So even just like in a week I'm so excited to see these kittens grow and see their personalities and what they look like and all that.
So we might have a Kayla Humane Society shelter in our future.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm loving every single second of it. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Going through the process of labor with someone, like she was just really leaning on me and like, we just like connected on a level that's just, I helped her and she would going through pain and then I'd pet her while she's in labor and she'd purr and then she would like relax her body. Like I was her doula. So I don't know. I might try to keep Poppy. But we'll see what happens. Marcus doesn't listen to this, so he doesn't know I'm going to say that. But I'm really actually proud of myself. I've kept fairly realistic expectations.
Good. I'm proud of you too.
So yeah, that's my life. And I still, even with all that happening, I watched 4 hours of The Bachelorette. So I'm a true fan. But a pop culture moment that I wanted to talk about because it's created a life of its own. And the Venice Film Festival was just this weekend and it just like escalated. Amy, have you heard of the Don't Worry Darling drama?
So yes, but I haven't followed it completely. So let's go.
I took notes because it's a lot. So first of all, I was super like when this the trailer came out forever ago now. I was so excited. First of all, I'm a huge Harry Styles fan and Olivia Wilde fan. And I'm actually all three of these people, the main people in it, the director and the two main leads, Florence Pugh. I'm a huge fan. So it started. Florence Pugh did not like, when the trailer dropped, she didn't like how hyper-sexualized it was and how they're using sexuality in the promotions. So that was kind of the first, not a lot of drama, but this is kind of the seed that grows. And then, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles has been having this whirlwind romance. And Olivia Wilde was married at the beginning of this. And there's also the age gap. And apparently that was kind of like some contention there. And Florence was reported to saying that she even directed parts of it. Because Olivia Wilde is the director. And then Florence and Harry are the actors and actresses. And she even like directed parts because Olivia was apparently too kind of preoccupied with her romance with Harry Styles. And to put on top of that, Florence Pugh also has a relationship with Jason Sudeikis, who was her husband.
Not romantic, but just...
Oh, no, just like they're friends. Yeah. And then, so Harry Styles was not meant to be the leading man at the beginning. Shia LaBeouf was actually hired, but then he dropped out and they replaced him with Harry. And when asked, when people asked Olivia what happened, obviously Shia LaBeouf has had a lot of things in the press of abusing women and different assault charges, etc. And so Olivia said she just wanted a safe and supportive environment for Florence Pugh and decided that he needed to be replaced. Shia LaBeouf did not like this too much. So Shia LaBeouf posts receipts of a video Olivia Wilde sent Shia LaBeouf essentially begging him to still be on the movie. And this is the infamous line that everyone is like continued. So you'll need to remember this part, okay? She says, Miss Flo needs a wake-up call, she says in this video. It's almost like against Florence and calls her Miss Flo. And that comes into the story later. Amy, do you have any questions so far?
No, I think I'm following.
Okay. And so after this video gets leaked, Florence Pugh, it's confirmed that she will not be doing any press for the movie except for the showing at the Venice Film Festival. And then that brings us to the Venice Film Festival, and this is where things get interesting. Just in the last couple days, this weekend, so much happened in those few days. And I also want to say none of this is essentially confirmed. This is just kind of reportings, he said, she said. But I mean, there's a lot. There's not smoke without fire. Is that a saying? It's fire without smoke. There's
no smoke
without a fire. Yeah. So this is the smoke, and the fire is what's the real thing. So there's something going on, but this is kind of what's the report. I got this all for BuzzFeed to get all the correct information. Okay. So they go to the very first press conference of the Venice Film Festival. Everyone, supporting characters, main characters, Olivia Wilde is there except for their main leading lady, Florence Pugh. And Olivia Wilde gets asked about it. And this is the exact quote that she says. Florence is a force, and we are so grateful she's able to make it tonight, despite being in production on Dune. I know as a director how disruptive it is to lose an actor, even for a day, so I'm very grateful for her. And I'm also grateful for Dune Part 2's directors, Denis Villeneuve, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, for helping us. And we're really thrilled to get to celebrate her work today. So she's saying she's not there because of Dune. This exact same time, Florence Pugh posts a Instagram story of her with an Aperol Spritz, just walking the streets of Venice, living her best life. She is not on Dune. Okay. And then... all right, what else happens? Okay, and then they ask Olivia specifically kind of about all the drama, right? Olivia Wilde says, as for all the endless tabloid gossip and all the noise out there, I mean, the internet feeds itself. I don't feel the need to contribute. I think is sufficiently well-nourished. So she didn't say there's not beef. She could have, but she didn't.
Which I'm glad she didn't, because already she's caught in one lie.
Totally.
Or multiple lies.
All right. And then things get weird with Harry Styles. So they have the main press conference with the whole cast, but then they go off into little pairs doing like little mini interviews for the movie. And Harry Styles is paired with Chris Pine, who's a supporting actor. And it's already a TikTok sound trend. So if that's not telling you, this is what Harry Styles says. My favorite thing about the movie is like, it feels like a movie. That's his favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie. And it's already trending on TikTok. It's ridiculous. And then you see Chris Pine just like looking into the void, just like how he's keeping a straight face. I have no fucking clue. Okay, so that happens. Okay, then we got the red carpet. Florence Pugh shows up in the most amazing, jaw-dropping gown. Like she is there to kill. Like if just her look is a revenge enough. This is the best part. This is where the Miss Flo comes right back around. Okay. So you know how celebrity stylists, you know, when there's a red carpet, they also post like the look and saying, oh, the gown is this and this and this. Stylist caption when they posted pictures, Miss Flo.
Oh, gosh.
I'm dead. It was the best thing that ever happened. Okay. And then the only press quote that they got from Florence Pugh on the red carpet is this. She says, I think it's very, very inspiring to see a woman push back and say no and question everything. And it's very exciting to see a woman do that on and off camera. I'm so lucky that I get to do that, especially in this role. So, I mean, I think for only having one quote about this movie in existence, that's quite the quote.
Yeah.
All right, next. Okay, so they all stood for pictures together and like the support, you know, on the red carpet as one does. But then it's literally like supporting actor, Florence Pugh, supporting actor, Harry Styles, supporting actor, Olivia Wilde. So like all of these people are separated now. And then even you see a press person try to get like Olivia and Harry to do a picture together, and like Harry completely like ignores her.
Yeah, says no. I saw that. So I'm like, are they even together anymore?
I'm thinking they aren't together anymore. And or were they ever together? Was this press for the movie? Was this a showmance? Something to think And then so it's very odd on the red carpet. There are no pictures of Harry and Florence, the two leading people. There's no pictures of any of the leads with the director, Olivia Wilde. So it's all just like, you can't say nothing's wrong and all of this stuff is happening. So there is a video around that really, really looks like Harry Styles spits on Chris Pine. It's very hard to think of it any other way.
Okay, but also I saw a video of this bigger where it was more awkwardness between Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. That's what I noticed more than that little possible spittage.
Yeah, I mean, definitely awkwardness with everybody. So do you think he spit?
I don't know.
Because Chris Pine's publicist has since done a statement saying no. But what is the video then? It's just weird.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that someone cropped it like that to show that maybe like that was his reaction. But I think his reaction was more the fact that he's sitting between Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles, and there was awkwardness.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Sorry, I did not catch that before. Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know. But that's the first version of the video before I saw what you sent me was further back. And there was like weirdness between Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles. And I felt like Chris Pine's like facial expression and everything was like, oh gosh, this is.
Yeah, I mean, that would make more sense. I think it's just because of all this drama. And plus, there's like, someone thinks Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine. It's just like, it's getting outlandish. Like, there's never been so much drama around a movie that I can think of. Okay, so that happens. Chris Pine's publicist denies it. And then I guess it's like at the Venice Film Festival, it's customary to have like a standing ovation afterwards. And so about 4 minutes of a standing ovation. And you see Olivia Wilde, Nick Kroll, Harry Styles, Florence, then someone else, and then Florence Pugh or something like that. So then you see Olivia lean kind of back behind the people to like get Florence's eyes and does like a clapping kind of towards her. And then Florence does it back. So only interaction between them. And then you see Harry Styles kind of lean back and see what Olivia's doing and then turns around to see who she's doing that to. And he looks bewildered that this is happening. His reaction is actually the best part of it. So it's like he's reacting just like all of us. It's wild. Harry also kisses Nick Kroll at some point. Florence Pugh leaves early. The standing ovation happens and she leaves around 3 minutes and like kind of rushes out. And you could see her mouthing something. She's like, can I go now? Like, I don't know if she actually says that, but that's what people are saying she said. And yeah, overall, the movie has gotten 46% of Rotten Tomatoes. I'm still excited to see it. What if this is all just like giant PR stunt and none of it is real? I think that I'm open to that too, but it's just wild. I went in detail,
actually, yeah, could you imagine that? They created all these weird moments to basically get us all talking so that we all want to watch the movie.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's smart.
All right. Moving on. Now you guys know all about the Don't Worry, Darling drama. So now we're into the reality TV news. Amy, do you want to take that one?
September 16th is Love is Blind After the Altar. Pumped.
Yes, September 16th. Make sure you watch it, especially with all the divorces that have happened since, etc. Excited to see how it goes down, and also about Deepti and Kyle, seeing kind of where they stand.
And Shane, because you never know what's going to come out of that guy's mouth.
He's kind of cray. Yes, so we will be doing, whether it's on an episode Amy's on or not, I'll be doing kind of like a little mini recap on our podcast after it comes out. So excited to do that. And then we did have a little bit of Selling Sunset drama this week. Chriselle Staus posted on Instagram stories, essentially saying that someone there was wanting just their 15 minutes of fame, how obvious it was, and just essentially calling out a cast member, because right now they are filming season 6. Okay. So people were kind of wondering who Chriselle Staus was talking about. And I don't think it's any of the cast that is currently that we've seen. There is one new cast member. And so I'm thinking it's them, and it's almost going to be kind of like the new villains since Christine Quinn isn't going to be on there.
Yeah, they have to do something. They can't just all get along.
So I don't know if this was a PR stunt also, like planning on getting people excited for the new season, or if there is real drama. So curious how that works out. And now, for while you're all here, Bachelor Nation news.
Yeah, so Amanda Stanton got married, which I was super excited about that. At first, I was looking at Lauren Bushnell, or like Lauren Lane is her name now. They were really close during the Bachelor seasons. I was looking at her Instagram story, and it was showing her like it looked like she was at home. And so I was like, oh, did she not go to the wedding? And I was going to create this whole tea, but then they all just like posted later on that they were all there. So I don't think there was any drama there. I tried to create it in my head, but no, there wasn't.
Yeah, I saw Andy Dorfman too.
Yeah. No, there was a lot. And the twins.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding.
So pretty. Garden wedding. And then also Hannah Brown's brother got married to the girl that Jed cheated on Hannah with. So that's
what are the odds?
But I feel like she played it off so like good, and like it was funny. She had a funny little caption like saying,
yeah, like my life is a never-ending plot twist or something like that. So yeah, she was having fun with it because some people thought maybe she wouldn't show up. So it was a big gesture that, you know, she's there for her brother, and you know, it's her sister-in-law now. So could you actually imagine? I
mean, and but she's moved on now, so hopefully
yeah, I mean, it'd be weirder if she was like still with Jed. Could you freaking imagine? But yes, lots of weddings, and then an update on kind of the next Bachelor and like the rumors going around. So this is kind of a spoiler, but really light spoiler, and not one I care about. It's just essentially saying Reality Steve knows someone who was offered it, and it was declined. So skip about 15 seconds if you don't want to listen. I will wait. All right. So Reality Steve has said that Nate Mitchell was actually offered the role of The Bachelor and declined it. What is your reaction to that, Amy?
That is shocking to me.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I believe it's just shocking.
Very.
I just feel like he would want to be.
Same, but it actually like makes me like him more. Realizing like he's not the people's choice. Like he doesn't want to like be the Bachelor if no one wants, like people aren't celebrating that, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. It made me trust him more.
Same.
A little bit, and like that he is remorseful for his actions and just kind of wants to move on with his life. Unless he's going to be popping up in Bachelor in Paradise, who knows?
Could you imagine?
But I guess probably not.
Yeah, because I think it's already filmed, and I'm assuming he didn't go because he thought he was going to be the Bachelor potentially before everything went down. True. So he kind of got the short end of the stick there. But I also thought it was super interesting. We'll obviously go more into the Fantasy Suite episodes, but obviously like things just really go down with Gabby, and there's a lot of another one bites the dust of her men. And Nate does a TikTok kind of saying that like he could still shoot his shot, something alluding to the fact that he still has a chance or something like that. Isn't that kind of weird?
That's really weird.
I thought so too. All right. Oh, and then I guess the only other Bachelor rumors, so it's not him. That's one thing we know. I personally think it's going to be one of Rachel's guys, either Avon or Zach, or someone from, I want to say it still could be someone from Bachelor in Paradise, even though the rumor is the finale is when they're going to tell us. So normally they would do it where like we've already fallen in love with them on the Bachelor in Paradise, and they wouldn't want to spoil anything. But I saw a Zachary reality video, and it's not like a spoiler because I don't think he knows. I don't think anyone knows. Thinking it might be Justin Glaze from Katie Thurston's season who's going to be on Bachelor in Paradise. I would personally love that. Who do you think?
I honestly am completely clueless.
I mean,
I don't have a strong feeling of, not even necessarily like a strong feeling of someone I want. I don't know.
As long as it's not Tina.
Maybe. Oh, if it's Tina.
Yeah, we'll get more into that.
I really don't think that I can watch it.
Me neither. Really no, we're shutting down the podcast for the season. All right. Or maybe we'll just like turn it into a Don't Worry, Darling drama podcast. There's enough content. I bet things will still be coming. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, it's hard to know what they do. I mean, remember when they chose Clayton? It was like completely out of left field. So
yeah,
who freaking knows? But I do think we're gonna find out part 2 finale after the final rose.
Right. I hope so. I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah, because also Zach Reality did a video where they're like starting to film in like a week. So
oh geez, yeah. So they have to.
I think they've chosen. So we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
All right, I want to find out as soon as like we did the Dancing with the Stars casting rumors last episode, a bomb dropped. What happened, Amy?
It is not Colton. Colton was like, "This isn't me, man."
Yes, so Colton Underwood is in fact not on Dancing with the Stars, but with the Gabby Windey rumor, it has only been confirmed since then by insiders, not by the actual Dancing with the Stars page. But just today, there was another picture of her going in for rehearsals with a keychain that says Gabby on it. So,
Okay.
I mean, 99% Gabby is going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and I can't freaking wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's kind of all the Bachelor news, reality TV news, pop culture news, my life news. And let's get into the recap. The Bachelorette recap, week 9, fantasy suites. Like, my mind is a little bit, that's like, it might just be a longer recap this episode because there's so much to talk about.
This season, oh my Lord, why is love so hard?
It's wild. I couldn't have predicted it in a million years. Let's start off with an easy one to get out of the way, which is fashion. Do you have any thoughts on the fashion this week?
Yeah, so my favorite outfit was Rachel's after date dinner with Avon. It was like pink, and it was really pretty. I loved it.
Reds and pinks look divine on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought overall Rachel's fashion, other than 2 misses, because there's a lot of looks, I thought she looked beautiful most of Fantasy Suites.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite for Gabby's?
I wrote down her green dress with her after date with Jason. I just thought it was a little bit different. It was long and just like tight. It just was a little bit different than what she normally wears, but I actually liked it. And I actually think it's kind of comparable to Rachel's, just like a green version a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely love the play with color. They're in Mexico. They should have fun. And I also, I think with that green dress specifically, she had her hair very different, kind of slicked back. That just gave her an entirely kind of sleek, different look than we're normally used to.
For sure.
But I do have to say that my favorite Gabby look was actually when, well, we're going to jump right into it, but we will give our thoughts when we get later into the episode, is when she goes and tell Eric she loves him, when she has the sequined skirt with the white top with the gold chains in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I almost died. Like, I kind of just like want to show up to the Bachelorette right there and see if she would take me over Eric, because I am so obsessed with her.
No,
she's beautiful.
Yeah, that was so cute. But I also was like, she's a little overdressed for what, like.
I know. I was also trying, because she was probably, what was planned that day was a rose ceremony, but I don't think she would wear that to a rose ceremony. So I'm curious, like, they really picked that probably just like randomly, but it worked so good.
Yeah.
Loved it. All right. Worst dressed for me was the very first look we saw Rachel in, with the blue, very poofy dress that just made her look bigger than she was personally. And I think for Gabby, we just had a little bit too much simplicity, just lots of shorts and tank tops. Other than Johnny, the Johnny date where she's wearing the white shorts and the knit top, I really liked. So kind of taking that simplicity with a little bit more interest with that one. But they all looked beautiful. Yeah,
in hot weather, I feel like you just kind of dress different too sometimes. Totally. And they were in their swimsuits a lot of the time.
Yes, and sorry for I'm just going to say this is a glow, but I really just haven't stopped sweating for a week because of the heat wave. So, all right. So we started off with Gabby and Eric's fantasy suites.
So the one thing that made me laugh about this date, I will say, is Gabby's quote of, "I wish I could crawl inside you."
Yes, it was the best quote of the entire episode. I'm so glad you said that. But you know, when you're so obsessed with someone, you just like, I've told Marcus, I was like, I just want to shrink you and put you in my pocket so I could carry you around everywhere I go. You know, when you just like feel that feeling, and you could just really sense the whole date, they are very deeply attracted to each other and have a deep connection.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt like their goodbye was very long because, you know, like they were just having a hard time. I think Eric was feeling nervous and insecure and all those feelings. But I felt it was also very realistic. Like, I feel like if I was on the show, I would have a hard time, especially if he knew he was the first one, which I'm assuming he did.
Yeah.
That would just be hard. I feel like I'd rather be the last one almost. Well, yes and no.
I don't know if I'd want the
yeah.
sloppy seconds. It's just like
Yeah.
such an out there concept of what this week is that it's just unnatural.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to compare of like how I'd feel, how they feel, or judging them how they feel, even though I do
Yeah.
a little bit in this podcast, but we'll get there. I also just think it showed how much of a class act Gabby is. I love that she's sticking up for herself and realizing, you know, like these are my decisions, and not being either, not that I don't think Eric was trying to manipulate her, and we go more into that later, but just kind of like he's struggling and she knows that, and she's being respectful of that and trying to be very sensitive to him, but also standing strong in her and her process that she'll need to, if it is Eric at the end, you know, that she could be fully confident in that, and she going through the process 100%, and like her saying, you know, be patient with me. I don't know. I just feel I really like how she is handling herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it could have been easy for her in that moment to even maybe give him too much and then make it worse, or make herself feel like I shouldn't have done that, or like, you know, whatever. So she probably left it with no regrets.
Yeah, and even like in the like interviews when Gabby's talking about the fantasy suites, she essentially said she loves Eric. But I kind of like that she didn't tell him that yet, because she, you know, obviously with what happened with Clayton. And I just think she's just being very respectful, and I think Eric should be really appreciative of how she's handling this, because I think she's just a class act.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get the first I love you of the season. Eric told Gabby that he was in love with her. So that was such a sweet moment. And even though, you know, Gabby probably wanted to say it back, I'm proud of her that she didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think the whole thing was natural. I was all for it.
Same. And like, you know, I've obviously had some conflicting thoughts with Eric. He's definitely growing on me. Am I going to take back fully what I said and having a bad feeling? No, because we don't know how it ends yet. But I do think he's growing on me, and I've seen more of their relationship this week than I have the whole season. So, in my defense, it's editing.
And I think that he's definitely been opening up more and more and more.
Yeah. So I love them. I love watching them together. Love it.
Yep.
All right.
So next we have Aven and Rachel's overnight. I think it was just fun and good.
I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't have many notes. I just kind of said they were both falling in love. They both said that to each other. After the night that they had together, they were very smitten with each other. And she even says, Rachel said, this is going to be hard to top.
Yeah, I was like, I guess because of the editing again, I was like shocked by how well it's doing. Because like hometowns, we were both shocked even when we were doing the recap of the hometowns of like, oh wait, is Aven a contender? And then the fantasy suites even like just keeps going up a notch. But the thing is, like, I don't know Aven. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand his story. Like we don't have one for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like the whole time for me, it's just been that I have seen Rachel as super into him, even if it's just physically. I don't know. I mean, they have a connection beyond that, but she was definitely extremely attracted to him. And I've seen that the whole time. But I do agree. Again, it might be editing. Maybe we should know more about him. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's hard to root for them when I feel like I don't know them as a couple.
Totally.
But I have nothing bad to say about Aven. I think they're really sweet together, and I like them.
Yep, same.
That's all I have to say.
Probably the most anticlimactic. Well, maybe that's the wrong word. Probably the most just like drama-free. Like there's nothing much to say, but it was good.
Yeah. And I guess one thing I did skip that I did want to talk about, because I thought it was a big indicator for the rest of this week's episode, is in the very beginning when Gabby and Rachel are talking about their guys. For me, it was just so obvious the top twos of their mind. Like for me, for Rachel, it was Aven and Tino. And for Gabby, it was Jason and Eric. And so I think it really left Johnny and Zach being kind of like to me, it was really obvious in that conversation. Was it for you?
Mhm. Yes, more with Gabby than it was with Rachel. But yes, at the same time, I think that Zach has just always been her safety.
Yeah, she keeps just saying, like, on paper, he's perfect. On paper,
Mhm.
this. And you need it to lift off the paper.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure.
I thought that conversation was very telling.
Another thing that I thought was just kind of odd was that they were like checking in with Tino like during the Avon date.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm just like,
know.
I don't give a flying
Like,
rat's
stop. I
on
don't
your
want to
end.
see his face. I don't want to
Yeah.
see it.
I don't care how he's feeling. We all know how he's feeling.
I know.
He wants to control the
He
situation
drives me up the wall, Amy. I don't know how people are still Tino fans. I will never understand.
This is my biggest thing with Tino. I feel like he doesn't have any self-awareness and is emotionally immature. He's so concerned with himself and his feelings that he's not even trying to like figure out what she feels. He just is so concerned with himself and like what he wants and what he wants her to do and what he wants her to feel and what he wants da 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 da, that he's like almost just like leaving her out of it.
My favorite thing is when he was in his interviews when I think Rachel was on the date with Avon is like, well, I don't need to sleep with anyone else. I'm like, you're not the Bachelor, dude. Like, I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah.
like not the same thing. And like that comparison is just not fair.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
What did you think of like once they have their kind of awkwardish date because they just need to talk about the family and hometowns and the approval?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. The family. Yeah. I was like, there was something going on.
What did you think of that conversation?
Well, first off, he instantly, unless it was just editing, he started sweating so
I think it was just really hot in there and in Mexico in his defense, kind of like me right now.
It's hard because I just have feelings about Tino that no matter what he says, I just don't want it. But
I know it's hard for me too.
Yeah, I will say that he did like say, I like see you as my future, and like he doesn't care what his family thinks. I'm just surprised that maybe he didn't have more of a conversation with them to figure out. Like, don't they get to talk to their family afterwards? So I'm just confused with,
I think,
like, why he maybe didn't stand up for her more or something.
It's because he wants to win, and it's not about the relationship, and he's not going to have to deal with his parents because it's not real. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. Especially with the sneak preview, I think some serious shit is going to go down, and it's going to prove my theory even more.
He says, I love you, and Rachel is very quick to say it back. Like, no hesitation. She's just literally waiting for him to say it so she could say it back. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I just feel like there's so many red flags coming at her, and she just sees butterflies and hearts, and I'm just like, Rachel, please, like, we want the best for you, Rachel.
I know, and also like, it just always shocks me. But again, I've never been in this scenario. But the fact that she could be like, it's going to be so hard to top this with Avon, and then just be like, I love you.
Especially with Clayton. People are really calling her out with the double standards.
Yeah. I'm a little confused on Rachel, how I even necessarily feel about Rachel right now.
I know. We'll talk more about that with Zach, Dave.
Yeah.
A lot of people are.
Yeah. But we haven't seen enough to have a true conversation. I
agree. Well, because another thing with these fantasy suites is there's a lot of big things that happen that weren't on camera. So it makes things a little bit difficult.
Totally. Totally.
But I guess let's see. Yeah, love you from both sides. We're confused. Moving on.
And did not show them waking up, which I thought was interesting. Which maybe it was just nothing happened, but it didn't show them waking up.
Oh yeah, weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then later on, Tino does say like it was flawless.
Yeah.
So I mean, it must have ended well, and maybe we didn't care to watch the make out for 20 minutes.
I didn't want to see it. All right, so now is it Gabby and Johnny?
Yep.
All right, Gabby and Johnny.
Initially, like I just love how fun they always are together. I feel like if they were in any other scenario, they could totally be together forever and it would be great, but just not right for the way that this show is.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked Johnny, but very quickly they kind of had a conversation about where they were in life, what they wanted out of this journey, and it did not line up. So Gabby wants to get engaged. Johnny does not. Johnny says that Gabby is the dopest girl he's ever been with. So I mean, with love poetry like that, I don't know how they broke up. But have you heard like the whole like drama of ABC's mess up of what happened with Johnny?
No, what?
Cool, because we watch it through like Hulu, so we don't get like the regular commercials that other people do when they're watching it like live on cable. But apparently, there is a Bachelor in Paradise promo, literally the right before their date, that showed Johnny.
Oh no! Oh no!
So it's just like people already knew. So yeah, spoiler alert: Johnny is now the new, the part of the original cast member of Bachelor in Paradise. So I'm excited to watch him again. I am.
Yeah, which is actually funny to me because I wrote after like the date in my notes, I could see Johnny in Paradise.
Yes,
so that's just it. I'm like, okay, that was pretty predictable too at the same time.
And
he has the personality for it.
Totally. And the fact that he's already in Mexico. Like, does he even go home? Does he just go straight? And then in this promo, he's wearing the exact same shirt and necklace. So I literally think he just walked from that beach to the Bachelor in Paradise beach.
That's funny. I think that he could be more successful in Bachelor in Paradise.
I think so too.
Because it doesn't always have to end in engagement. It can just end in like, let's date. And that, I think that's where he is in his life right now.
I agree. And I think he also learned a lot about himself and through his relationship with Gabby, that he can be even a better potential partner for whoever he meets in Bachelor in Paradise.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so then after she has Johnny leave, Gabby gets a note saying, meet me at the bridge. So at this point, we don't even know who it is. I was thinking, does Johnny regret it? Like maybe he's coming back? I wasn't sure. But it ends up being Eric. And at first, it kind of just seems to be like like, I missed you, I want to hug you, whatever thing. Yeah. But then he makes the comment, like, something about, like, I just can't imagine you doing like what we've done at this point with anyone else or whatever. And I want to know what this conversation was exactly that they had, because it almost, to me, Gabby then had a reaction because she's like, we already had this conversation off camera. Like, why are you bringing it up?
It's almost like she kind of shut down.
Yeah.
And she does kind of talk about what they talked about and how he sees it as cheating. It's hard for him not to see it as cheating, which, I mean, it's understandable, but it seemed like they already went in circles in the overnight. So for him to bring it up again when she was already kind of coddling him almost in like the fantasy suites, she was just kind of annoyed. So they ended up kind of on a weird note. And so it made Eric extra nervous about her going into the fantasy suite with Jason.
Yeah, and I feel like the second that he said it, he's like,
he regretted it.
Why did I say that? I don't think he even, I don't
think it was from a bad place. And even Gabby said,
I actually don't.
Yeah, Gabby said, like, I know your heart's in the right place. So that kind of added the tension going into Jason's date. Jason. I'm so sad. I'm so disappointed. Let me get
So the way it starts is just Jason and Jesse talking.
Don't even get me started with Jesse, but yeah.
Yeah, so during that conversation, I was just like really trying to listen to what he had to say, because I'm just like, oh no, what is going to happen? So the way he said some things is like, hopefully turns into something real outside this. That sentence just stuck out to me because I'm like, hopefully turns into something real outside of this. That does not sound very hopeful to be saying about someone that you're supposed to be in love with. And my other thing I thought listening to this is like, why are all these guys like not super serious on Gabby's side? Like, I think I'm not blaming her in any sense at all, but at the same time, I think she missed important conversations in the beginning on accident. I think that she assumed that everybody there was there for the right reasons and there with the same concept in mind, because she was like, well, I was on here last season and I wanted to be engaged, so you guys should know I want to be engaged. And even us, though, we've made comments, we didn't even really know if she was gung-ho about being engaged or not.
Yeah, for sure. Like, really, Fantasy Suites is the first time we've fully heard it from her.
Yeah, so I feel like a big miss on her part of this was she probably should have had those conversations. Jason, douchebag, doesn't count. But with Johnny, like, she should have already known if he, like, kind of saw engagement, because maybe one of the other guys she let go would have been more willing to commit, and they might have been able to have a better connection.
Yeah, and I think especially with that conversation with Jesse and Jason is she literally just let Johnny go for that exact same reason. So it's just like I didn't see really even hope for them after that conversation. But then they go on the date. I want to say one more thing. I want to talk about more about Jesse Palmer later in the episode. But one thing I didn't like is with Chris Harrison and then also with like Caitlyn and Tasha, I always felt like they were on the leads team. Whatever the host knew, so did the leads. And I almost feel like Jesse has turned into the contestants host.
Support.
Support, not the leads. And I don't like it. So that's how I feel.
It's like they all know this stuff. We're going around and getting more information behind the person's back and showing America, which, I mean, it's not happening in real time, but showing America, and then basically showing the lead looks stupid thinking something this entire date when it's not. I mean, it is up to the guys to have these conversations, of course, but I almost feel like advice should have been given to Gabby earlier on when all these guys are saying these things. Maybe you should have this conversation about that, or, you know.
Exactly. I 100% agree. It's just rubbing me the wrong way. But Gabby and Jason seemed to be a good date. I thought the tennis date was super cute. She really is like trying to like do what he likes and be part of his passions. And then they had a fun swimming date. And
he loved it too.
Yeah, they had a good day.
The way that he worded it, I feel like was like, this is the first time I could even, like, it felt real.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Oh, him and that word real.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this without sounding like a maniac and just spewing out random thoughts, because I'm just so...
Spew.
Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
I don't either. Gabby doesn't deserve this.
I hated that the fact that he was like, you don't even know me and I don't even know you. It's like, you should know me. I've been being real.
Yeah.
I just can't believe he would even say that to her at this point.
And he's so just like callous. Wait, is callous the right word? He's so
yeah, no, I think callous is the
and
right
just
word.
nonchalant about everything. Even like the whole episode that he's a part of.
It's almost like literally he just thought that this was just a fake show.
Yeah, I think he has no empathy.
Yeah, I think he might be a serial killer.
I think so too.
No, like I am very curious actually after watching this though to see if I hope, because if not, something's wrong with him, that like at the after the rose stuff that maybe he can
I hope so.
Maybe, I don't know, because
he was just
I also could see him not showing up.
He was such a fan favorite, and he really screwed the pooch on this one.
He's been very open about the fact that cameras and all that make him nervous, but it really seemed like he was moving past that, and it was just a nerve, not anything to do with them not being real together.
He led her on. He led her on
100%. Oh, it all he did the whole time he's been there, all he's been doing is wasting her time. Because if he actually realized all this the entire time and was just like, oh, well, she likes me, I like her too, I'll just keep going. Yeah. Like this was some sort of game.
He should have left early. He should have left when he initially wanted to.
Yeah, why did he say, oh, I've stayed? Okay, so then they have this conversation, she gets up, he goes and talks to her. And he's like, I was going to leave, but I stayed for you. Okay, what does that actually mean though? Because you're not even saying that you want a relationship outside of this. You're not even saying you want to see her outside of this. It was like, it could maybe turn into a serious relationship. I was just praying. I'm like, I just hope he's the worst communicator in the history of the planet. And he just clarifies. That's kind of where my heart was. I was like, oh, please, please, please.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even acting like he wanted to be in an exclusive relationship after this.
Yeah. No, it's wild. And so she got up from the table and walked away, and then he ended up coming, and they had an okay conversation, and Gabby at least seemed to feel better. So I was like, okay. And then they decided.
And they played romantic music. Music. Like,
Yeah. And they decided to go the fantasy suite, but it definitely wasn't a normal fantasy suite. They just needed to talk because he's private, and like they just needed to see what they are without the cameras. But to be a fly on that wall, this is the first instance that, because we'll talk about more with Zach, that something big happened in the show that wasn't on camera, and so it's hard to fully like. I'm just like Gabby explained it, and we saw a little bit of it when she went over to Jason's the next morning of kind of how he was acting towards her. But essentially they talked, went in circles, and then she went to her own room, and then she came back the next morning. And then what happened?
Yeah, which I'm actually glad they did the fantasy suite, because I do think that was definitely needed.
Yeah, at least like closure for her of like this isn't even like, who she wants to be with.
Yeah, like what's actually happening here? Like, are you really just starting to freak out because of the cameras? Like, I feel like if they would have said goodbye right there, there would have been too many questions.
I agree.
Of like, what would it be like if we weren't on camera?
Yeah. What did you think when she came the next morning and how they like had their official breakup?
I basically just said, this isn't about you, Jason. You can suck balls.
I'm okay with ending it that way with Jason. That's exactly, I'm done with you.
He straight up let her on, isn't even really admitting to it, and is just a douchebag. And I don't understand how he could stay there that long, do this to her, knowing what happened to her and why she's on this show, looking for love. And you were acting like, not only do you not love her, you don't even act like you know if you like her or want to ever see her again.
Yeah.
You are terrible.
Agreed.
And you ruined this for her in a lot
all
of ways.
of us. I'm so disappointed. I was really rooting for him.
I want to say that this might actually be the most shocking.
I think so too. And it's not even over. Like,
yeah, I didn't see that coming at all.
So that leaves just Eric. So it's fantasy suites, and Gabby has one guy left. So it seems like what they're going to do is still go through the rest of the process, but just with her and her one guy. So we'll get more into the sneak preview and Gabby and Eric after we talk about Rachel and Zach's date.
Okay. Zach and Rachel, I just want to give a full view of my thinking on their relationship as a whole. I even have talked about this in the podcast. I have felt something like, I felt that they've both been kind of fake, like so like almost like filmy, or like you're on a, like just the way they speak to each other, like, oh, da 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 da, ah, da 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 da, like their voices are like theatric and stuff when they talk. So I had noticed that, but I was kind of just trying to ignore it because I'm like, okay, if they actually like are into this and that's what it is, then good for them. But they have had like some deep emotional stuff and like having things in common and a good hometown date and everything. But I've always also thought that Rachel is just keeping him to be more of a safety guy. So anyways, on this day, I felt like it went fine. Like, whatever. And then the next morning was the most awkward encounter I've ever seen in my life.
I have never, like, there's never been a more awkward scene in Bachelor history, and that's saying something. Like, it was just so off and awkward. They were both, like, playing each other. Like, are they fighting? And it was just very weird. It was very weird.
And I don't know how Rachel could think that was fine.
Yeah.
Like, watching that, I was like, I literally almost felt like, like how you see parents fight in front of their kids.
Yeah.
They're just like,
the cameras are on. Like. We have to act nice to each other. And I mean, it goes like more into what I'm thinking of Rachel, that like once Zach walks away, he talks to Jesse Palmer and gives his kind of story of events that happened once the cameras turned off.
And he was really upset.
So what I think happened, so Zach talks to Jesse Palmer and says that once the cameras are off, their body language completely changed. It almost seemed like she was putting on an act, and kept harping on the fact that he was 26 and if he's ready to get married. Oh, he's 25 and ready to get married. A little
and she's
history lesson. Yeah. So she's a couple months older, but on Clayton's season, she was 25. So just saying that. And this is what I think happened. Rachel knows that Zach's not her guy. Part of the reason of this, I think, is passionless. It is missing a serious element, and I think she knows that, and especially with how well everything went with Avon and Tino. And so she's almost trying to set him up or build a storyline of why that puts her off the hook of letting him go. I think she's keeping on that facade once the cameras turn on in the morning, just to make it like all nicey, and then so that they can have a positive breakup, and for her being able to label a reason on it. She's planted the seed that so when she breaks up with him, she can put it back to that.
Yeah, but why not just break up with him in the fantasy
I think she
then?
really cares about what people think of her on the show. And I think she's afraid of, because since Zach has always been so nice to her and wonderful, I think she's afraid of breaking up with him. Probably just a fear of like how Zach's going to react because he's so into her, as well as how the viewers are going to react. And so this is her trying to create a storyline for herself where she's not like, people aren't mad at her.
I kind of get it.
I don't know.
Well, the better move for her to do what so many times when there's 3 people going into the fantasy suites, the third one goes home.
She should have sent him home before the fantasy suite.
Yeah, when they're at that dinner, she should have realized it, because I'm assuming she already did know that. So unless, like, I guess the camera's turned off and she just, like, realized,
oh, crap,
I don't want this. And then just didn't know how to. No.
And I think, she just also wanted, she probably felt pressure. Like, not saying that Zach pressured her, but, like, you know, when you go into the fantasy suites, there's a certain, and she was all for it with Tino and Avon, which, go girl. But with Zach, I think it was also a way for her to like set kind of, start pushing him away.
Yeah, I would like, well, I think I would want to be a fly on the wall on that date. I don't know.
I don't know if I would.
I thought it'd be awkward, but I really did feel for Zach. I'm not siding or whatever, because we really don't know. We haven't really heard Rachel give a comeback. I do think, looking at the preview, her saying, questioning my character.
She's very defensive.
I don't know I don't know if that was the right move to make, unless Zach is straight up making up lies, which I don't in any way
think so either.
See that, honestly.
I think his feelings are very valid.
And he was just so sad and upset, because he was like, I've fallen in love with this woman, and the second the cameras turn off, that's not her. That's probably how Gabby feels with Jason.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm kind of team Zach on this. And people are saying he's getting the Bachelor edit. And I don't think I want that either, though. Like, I don't not like Zach, but I don't want him to be Bachelor.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So, yeah, that was just weird. And it was another I wish I could have seen that interaction, you know? So now that all of Gabby's guys are gone, and she's taken some time to reflect and kind of figure out her feelings, she goes to Eric, tells him she loves him and that he's the only one left, and that there's not going to be a rose ceremony.
And it was a very emotional moment. Gabby cried. It was very
so sweet. Here's my thing, though. Do you think when they're watching it together now, Eric is going to maybe feel like it wasn't like she was dumped by the other two? And I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious if he's going to feel like her first choice. And I trust Gabby and her self-awareness, and I don't think it's that. I could just see it being potentially perceived that way.
Now it's like Eric by default.
Yes.
That's what it feels like. But I think it probably sucks the way they edited it, because they had Gabby saying so many times, like, now I'm not sure about Eric. Now I'm not this. When really it was maybe just like
she said she was scared, like, because she's never had type of love for Eric, and she's never had to ask him to love her. He just did, and she just wasn't used to it.
Yeah, so I hope that doesn't become a problem. But really, that's my least concern after watching the preview.
Yeah, I really like them together. I want it to work, and I am ready to. I don't know if eat crow is that the thing. I'm ready to say I was wrong about what I think about Eric, but not yet. I want to see it all play out first.
I agree with that.
But I hope she leaves with him and they're so happy.
The episode ended with Rachel's rose ceremony. So we had Tino, Avon, and Zach. I hate that they made him have to like interrupt the rose ceremony. I hate it when they do that.
I know, it's so awkward.
Like, do they say wait until she goes to grab the rose and then you can say her name? They're like,
Exactly. It's ridiculous. So that was just really awkward. He's like, Rachel, can I talk to you for a second? And they go outside. And like, Tino is such a baby. Just even his reaction to it, just like, please just stop talking. I don't want to hear your voice ever again. And then it leaves it off. But then it goes to a commercial, comes back, and Jesse is in like an abandoned warehouse.
Oh, it was like the Bachelor live studio all folded up.
That it all of a sudden turned into a true crime documentary. The way he was talking, his background, it was wild.
I'm not saying I want Chris Harrison back. I'm just saying I want normal back. Like, whatever that is, because I cannot handle whatever. Or even Tayshia and Caitlyn. That was great.
That was amazing. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jesse Palmer, but people are. So we might have to get on board. I don't see him going away anytime soon.
Oh, well, I guess maybe it's just the new way they're kind of running the show in general.
Wells Adams. Justice for Wells Adams. He would be the perfect host. I would love to see that one day, but we'll see.
Maybe my problem with Jesse Palmer is less about him, but he's just the voice box for what I don't like about the show.
Yeah, right, possibly.
Yeah.
For at least like Chris Harrison, Caitlyn, and Tayshia, they had some type of personality. He's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, it does seem like very more scripted. I feel like
surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just not a human. I'm kind of convinced he's a robot. Okay, then we get the sneak preview. So with Gabby, we only have Eric, and so they're gonna go. He's gonna meet her parents, but then it almost seems like now he doesn't want to get engaged. So we still don't even know if she's gonna end up with Eric or leave with Eric.
Yeah, and she seems pretty upset about it too. It's like all of a sudden now he's like, well, normally you date before you get engaged, and it's just like, we've been dating, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Rachel still has 3 guys. She's got her hands full. I was a little confused because I see Zach a little bit more than I thought in the sneak preview. Because I figured she's going to be sent home.
Yeah. No, I think Zach's gone. I think that they're just trying to trick us. They do that a lot lately. And I just think he's gone right after that rose ceremony. I don't know why he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know what could happen to make that not happen.
Yes. And then something giant happens with Rachel. And even in the preview, I'm not even sure if it's in the actual I think it's going to be like she gives her rose to somebody, and it's going to be like from now to the time we were the time we were filming to the after the final rose, something goes down.
Yeah, something.
And I think it's Tino, and I think he's a snake of the grass.
Yeah.
So it should be an interesting one, and I actually kind of believe Jesse Palmer because this was the most shocking fantasy suite. So it really could be the most shocking finale. Marcus was watching with me, and he thought it was the finale because of just how everything happened.
Yeah, and we still have 2 episodes, which one will be the after the final rose mostly, and then
next Tuesday will be the live finale part 1, and then the Tuesday after that on the 20th will be the live finale part 2.
Why are they doing that to us?
It's weird. I don't know.
I don't like it.
Yeah, because I know Monday football started, so that's why they're moving it to Tuesdays. I don't know why. I guess just so much happens that they still have to have 2 weeks. And then literally we don't get 1 week break. We're right into Bachelor in Paradise on the 27th. So Amy is going to be staying with us for 1 more episode because of how they did the schedule. So she will be recapping the finale part 1 with me, and I will be recapping the finale part 2 without her, unfortunately, but I'll have a special co-host guest. And a reminder, we have new episodes every Friday. Since this was such a long recap, we're going to skip the game. And just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure you please rate and review. And follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. And we post every day. We follow the Bachelor news, anything coming up. And we also like to make you laugh. So we do funny videos and keep you up to date on everything.
And also email us at stopwearingmyclothespodcast@gmail.com. Any hot takes. Just want to say hi, whatever you want to say.
Yes. So until then. See you later.